Going live. Hey, how's it going, Jackie?
Hey, it's great. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast today. As you know, the show is called the One Self Podcast, and we are a podcast that inspires growth through wellness, authentic- authenticity, intentional living, helping you elevate your brand, life, and business. So I know you have something amazing to share about your story, and I'd love to know a little bit about your professional background. What got you to starting your business?
Okay, thank you. So,
What?
when I own JackieStyle Image and Branding Agency, and a part of that professional background is my poor mother birthed a fashionista. So I have just always loved fashion, and from the moment that I could talk, I was telling her what I was going to wear. I styled my friends and junior high and high school. And then, of course, once I got into college, I went, my degree is in fashion from
Mhm.
Arizona State University. And then,
Oh, no way.
yeah, right.
That's
And
so
while I was
cool.
doing all of that, I started my business while I was still in school because I saw a need. I saw I could feel my passion,
Mhm.
and so, yeah, I also met some really amazing image consultants along
Mhm.
the way that encouraged me, um, and taught me on where to go and how to do it. So
That's
that's
so
kind
cool.
of,
So did
yeah.
you learn in fashion school how to like stitch things and like create things and draw things, or was it more like the industry and all of those things?
All of the above. So,
Okay.
it's clothing and textiles and business, and that particular degree we did. There was a time that I designed a piece from drawing to pattern
Wow,
to like put it together. And
that's
then
so
there's
cool.
other classes that were very much like, this is what it's like to be in the fashion business. Like, here's the
Hmm.
the the
Reality.
business of fashion, right?
Mhm.
So I learned tons while I was there.
That's so cool. That's so awesome. That there's like when you have a passion, there's education to back you, but then it's also like the creativity that you have to bring to the table, which now you know from start to finish, which is really cool. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
how do you define the connection now between personal image and professional success? What does that mean
So
to you?
that connection. Um, so a lot of people think that it's different, that there has to be that it's one versus the other. And the
Mhm,
way that I kind of think about a person's image and professional,
mhm,
and how that all works together
mhm.
is you pay attention to how you're representing yourself. Like, you have a
Absolutely.
nonverbal message. And when
Mhm,
you take your personal image, it really does affect the success of your profession. If you are
absolutely.
an I don't care, I'm just going to wear whatever I want, I don't care,
Mhm.
that kind of an attitude, it comes across also in that professional
True.
setting.
True.
So this
Absolutely.
is that, yeah, right? You can feel
Mhm.
it. Like, you walk
You
into a
feel it.
networking room or you walk into a meeting and you're like, okay, you really don't care about
Yep.
us meeting together or whatnot. So
Mhm.
taking that personal image and really, making sure that your message is unique and special and authentic to you, and
Mhm.
is the message that you want to have to the world.
Absolutely.
That's really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so true because sometimes you walk into a room or even a restaurant or anywhere you are and you're like, wow, you get inspired by the way they carry themselves, like how their stature is, what they're putting on, how they color coordinate. You're like, man, I could do that too. Or maybe I should talk to them and see how did they come up with that kind of style. Everyone has a unique image that they bring to the table. And their confidence speaks from how they appear to themselves, because the first thing you look at in the morning is yourself. So you
Yep.
have to be happy with that image that you're trying to put out there.
I agree. I agree 100%. Yes.
So that's kind of how I'm like, man, I gotta up my game now, because now there's inspiration on Pinterest. There's inspiration with friends and just friends helping friends, like you help your clients try to find what's best for them, their body, and what they want to portray.
Yeah. Yep. I love inspiration. I get inspired by I love people watching, and so I'm inspired just by, watching people and seeing what they're doing, wandering
Exactly.
through shops and, of course, magazines and, some TV shows, but I love people watching the most because they
Yeah,
are inspiring and the creativity and all the, yes.
of course, and like even just like even when you watch music videos, you see like how the person like image their image for what it's going to look like, and like even people in the background are dressed up. It's everybody because it's the whole picture that comes together. That pictures are worth a thousand words. So, and it evokes
Yes.
a feeling.
Yeah, I love because that curation of that message throughout is really important in whether it's in music videos, on social media, wherever
Yes,
that is, having that being curated and thinking that
yeah,
through is really important. There's really not nonverbal messages. Whether you want it to be said or not, something's being said about
something
you,
being said.
right?
Yeah. And then people like what they say 3 seconds, they judge you in 3 seconds, they look at you and they make a decision if they're gonna talk to you or not talk to you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know, that's the way of the world. And
yeah.
so, so what are the most important or common branding mistakes you see entrepreneurs or professionals make?
I think there's a couple. I think one of them is not caring, like thinking
Mm-hmm.
that my intelligence and my work is going to be what sets me apart, and that may
Mm-hmm.
be true. But if we're talking about like your resume is the same, your
Mm-hmm.
business is the same, but now I have
Correct.
to determine that person. How am I going to make that differentiation? And if you're
Yeah.
someone that has taken care of it, like, has that right messaging, has pulled together their look in a positive
Mm-hmm.
and a way, you're gonna be that
Mm-hmm.
person that has that step ahead versus that person,
Absolutely.
"Here I am, I don't care, I'm just gonna show up the way I show up," and you're either gonna,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of an attitude.
Yeah.
One, there's attitude behind that, but there's so much like, thinking that it doesn't matter, that's one mistake. And then I
Mm-hmm.
think another, um mistake kind of comes when you're looking at your personal brand and your online brand,
Absolutely.
and when it's not consistent. So if you're like super professional on your online brand and then when you meet someone in person and you're completely different, there's a
Mm-hmm.
disconnect that happens.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
a lot of times people like can't, like, they're like, wait, what just happened?" Like, or vice
Mm-hmm.
versa. Same if you're professional in person or
Mm-hmm.
you're one way in person. However that is, that they don't match, that there's really a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
So being consistent,
Yep.
visually and professionally, like all the way through social media and how you are in person, I think that's
Mhm.
another mistake that professionals make.
Yes, you're absolutely right because you could be putting something out there that you've worked so hard to produce, like on your website or your your business card, whatever. But then on social media, you're showing things that are not consistent to who you are. So yeah, everything has to align because that's how
Yes.
you show up for your brand.
Yeah, exactly.
So my next question is, in your experience, how does personal style influence confidence and credibility?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Uh, I feel like personal style again, I'm just gonna keep coming back. It's kind of funny because it's coming back to that messaging. And
Mhm.
when I work with my clients, we work on a couple different things. So it's like, what's your best colors? What's for best for your body type? What kind of personality do you want to have in your clothing? What kind of styles? And then what's your brand message? Like, how do you want that message to be? And I
Mhm.
feel like once you have all of those together and you're like, "Ooh, I know this looks good on me. Ooh, I
Yes.
know that this is great for my body," or, "Oh, I feel really
Mhm.
great in this." Like
Mhm.
like when you feel good in something, like your head is higher, your shoulders are back, you feel good. It's
Totally.
kind of like I feel like it's like that day that you have your hair done and it looks perfect because the stylist did it, and you're
Yeah.
like, I know I look good, right?
Yeah.
It's that
Well,
same thing.
you walk with confidence in the room. You're like, yeah, I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's something that happens inside of us. It's all chemical, right? We know that we
Yeah.
look good. There's this, and when you, it's kind of that, you look good, you feel good. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but you look
Mhm.
good, you feel,
Yeah.
it's a real thing.
It
And
is.
so
It is.
knowing, yeah, knowing that consistency, being consistent, and knowing that your message is on point,
Yeah.
it's a big deal with confidence. And as far as credibility, I mean, when you show up as your most confident, and your messaging is on point, of course, there's credibility that backs that up, right?
Yep. Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. So here's another question. What role does storytelling play in building a powerful personal or business brand? How do you
well,
tell your story?
how do you tell your story? Yeah. So I like to, that when we talk about that brand piece with my clients, I
Mhm.
like to ask them like the question of, okay, you want your message. Let's, for example, you say, I want my messaging to be confident. I want my message to be that I'm a confident person.
Mhm.
Fantastic. What does
Mhm.
confident look like to you?
Yeah.
Because what confidence looks like to me can be different than confidence that looks what it looks like to you, and who
Mhm.
that is. And so in that storytelling, and that pulling out that story, and like how it fits within who you are, what confidence looks like, it's all about that storytelling and that branding, right? And
Or
love when it like marries a little bit, that little place in the center where it actually fits with your business brand too. So that
mhm.
for me, like purple is a part of my storytelling. You're going to
Mhm.
see it on me as a person, and you're going to see it through all my branding as a business. And it's again a part of that consistency and that storytelling all the way through, all my messaging. So
Yes, I love that. And I see that. And I see the effort that you put into building that brand and I admire it. So you're doing a
thank
great job.
you. Oh, yay.
You are, you are. So my next question is, can you share a client success story where a brand or an image transformation made like a huge impact in their lives?
Oh, yes. Well, I have two, but I think the one I will go with is, I have a dear friend who I've known, I when we met about 12 years ago. And as we built our relationship and friendship and professional relationship, she was like, okay, I need you in my closet. And I said, great.
Aw.
So I went over and got to be in her closet. And I looked around, and there was like a delineating line in her closet. And
Aw.
I was like, this is really interesting. Half of her
Mhm.
closet was super professional, like ultra suits and blouses and skirts, and like super, super professional. The other side was so boho. It was beautiful. It was full of
Yeah.
boho, flowy patterns, like all
Mhm.
these great colors. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have another person? Because I'd only seen her in the professional clothing. And I said, oh, do you have a roommate, or do you have someone, she's like, no, those are mine. And I'm like, I have never
Oh wow.
once seen you ever in this part of your closet. She's like,
Mhm.
oh no, that's only reserved for, that's who I really am. That's when I'm not doing professional things. That's what I wear. And I'm like, but that's you just told me that's who you are.
You are.
And
Yeah.
so we talked about it a lot, and we talked about different ways that we could bring in different kinds of colors and pattern to kind of help that marry her heart to what she felt
That's nice.
professional looked like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now she's like, mm-mm, no more suits for me. That's not who I am authentically. When
Mhm.
I'm doing business, this is who I am, and I'm going to show up as my true, authentic self. And her messaging is still beautiful and
Mhm.
perfect and exactly right for who she is. And
Mhm.
she still creates a professional, that professional connections with people
I
in
love
her
that.
authenticity. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, you can have fun with style too. It doesn't have to be just be wearing certain clothes all the time. Like gotta get out there and be yourself and showcase who you really are. So that's great that you were able to find that relationship.
Thank you.
Awesome.
See, we had fun. I love watching
Awesome.
her and seeing her grow.
It's like a whole transformation, it
Yeah.
really is. So, how do you approach helping someone discover their authentic brand identity? Like, how do you help them discover it? Like, do you ask questions? What is this? What is the way to do it?
What's that process?
Mm-hmm.
So I usually have, because I meet with you in your closet and I meet with you while you're shopping. I do this discovery opportunity where we sit down and we look really truly at, okay, let's look at what your best colors are. What do you wear well? What looks good on you?
Correct.
Colors do you hate? What colors do you love? It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of like questions, but I also, there's action that goes into there. And so body
Right.
type, like how are clothes fitting you? Like why do some clothes fit you well and some clothes don't? And we do a lot of I do a lot of education, a lot of discovery,
Wonderful.
fashion personality, and then that brand piece, I really have them pick what three words you get to control the room, and with what three words do you want that messaging to be. And then we do a deep dive into that, what that looks like, who is that, how does that feel, is it the same as what I think? Are we on the same page? And we talk about it a lot. And we do, like, I pull up examples and
That's
we
good.
try to, yeah, try to create like, this is what I'm seeing. Is that the same thing that you're seeing? And just, we have to communicate through that, because otherwise, if I'm making my assumptions of what you want your brand to feel like or how you want that to be, I'm probably wrong because I just assumed versus actually like digging deeper into like who you are and what you want to, but what you want your messaging and your how you want to represent yourself to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess the advice you would give someone who's just starting to invest in their personal or business brand is just to get started, and just
Yeah.
come to you because I feel like you have that storytelling ability to be like, okay, these are how these colors feel to you. Because I feel like colors give an energy, and if
Hmm.
because if you're all in black, it can be classy, but it could also be like you don't want to be noticed or something, you know.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
it depends on where you are. Like if you're in a classy dinner, if you're, it's a different vibe. So, and sometimes people have events where it's like dressing up for a theme, and you get excited about dressing up for that theme. But there are other times where you're just like I know this photographer, and he's always wearing this hat, and now everybody's like knows him because he's the guy who
Because
wears
of the hat.
this hat, this like this today. But I don't know what you call them, but they're from a different era where it's like kind of like a boat shaped. I don't know how to explain, but anyways, it's a certain hat that everybody sees, and he wears it backwards, and they know it's him. You know, so
That's
that's
awesome.
like his personal style. Like he gets in the room, they know, hey, Luigi's here. You know, um, so it's about finding that hat or that cardigan or that thing, that statement piece in every outfit, that focal point. And that's what I think even accessories make a big difference.
Yeah. Right now, everyone knows me from between my purple hair and my glasses. Like, they're like, I really like that really nice lady who has the brown hair and the, oh yeah, purple glasses. And then they're like, oh, that's Jackie, of course. Like, so
Exactly.
that's like but purple is like my theme that I pull all the way through.
Hmm.
Um, but it can be a color, but it can also be an attitude. It could be a feeling,
Yeah.
to just get, and yeah, just getting started, like, what,
Hmm.
start doing some self-discovery and start
Yeah.
figuring out like, what do you really love and what do you really not like, that is just as important as finding out what you like,
Exactly.
as finding out what you don't like, because then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, I don't like orange, I don't want that in my life, or I don't like, oh goodness sakes, purple, what, whatever that is, like,
Yeah.
if you don't want that, then just know, okay, that's a starting point, that's a great
It's
starting point.
starting
And
point.
yeah, and I
And
love
you
to
can
say,
evolve. You can
yes,
evolve.
Absolutely.
And you
Absolutely.
don't
And
always have to spend the most money just to look good. I mean, there's ways you can curate yourself with a budget too, you know?
100%. And I always recommend that if you're going to purchase something, that that one thing that you're buying should go with three other things in your closet. And that way
Okay,
you're doing it smart, you're building a wardrobe, you're building a look. Yeah.
absolutely. And I also like, sometimes you can go thrifting. Sometimes you can, you know, like I said, you can find, like you said, you can find inspiration online. So there's always a way to start stuff. But doing your
Yeah.
research helps a lot too. To see, okay, I see somebody that I idolize that I want to look like. Let's talk to Jackie or figure out if I can actually pull this off. And sometimes you can, and sometimes if you can't, it's okay. There's something else better that bonds you to who you really want to be. That can be shown when you wake up in the morning and think, okay, you know what, I'm gonna try this out. And if it works, it
Yeah.
works.
I
No hard
love it.
feelings.
Yeah, well, and fashion is supposed to be fun. Style is, there's the style is like how you represent yourself, but fashion is supposed to be fun. So if you're like
Yeah,
trying to figure it out, have fun with fashion and have fun with how that feels on you.
absolutely, absolutely. So with social media being so influential, how do you guide clients to stay consistent online and offline?
Well, that's such a big question because I think we kind of covered that a little bit earlier
Yes,
about
yes,
like
yeah,
making sure that you're consistent in both places and
yes,
that when you're so if you have a website that like of course my website is purple, but if you have a website that's in like the browns and the brown tones, you're not going to show up on your website in purple, right?
correct,
Unless it's like
correct.
you figured out a way to coordinate it. So
Mm-hmm.
even though it's not exactly your business brand is not exact to your personal brand, maybe there's times that you want it to have that consistency. There's times that you want to make sure that the messaging is consistent. And
Correct.
with social media being so influential, like
Mm-hmm.
how are you showing up on your socials? Are you
Yeah,
showing up consistently? Are you showing up
correct,
consistently in the
correct.
messaging that you want? And
Absolutely,
so, yeah, just asking
absolutely.
yourself that question, like, where,
Yes.
how consistent am I?
And also like looking from the outside in, because sometimes like we think what we're posting is showing our authenticity, but then somebody might say, hey, you know what? Have you thought about like, showing the behind the scenes of who you are, or like people are into that nowadays. To show different parts of you, not just your business side. Your personal side, your things that you like to do for fun, so that you can build an audience where they start knowing who you really are.
Yes,
You know.
yes. Like we went to, for example, I mean, I still had my purple glasses and my purple lipstick on, but I posted a picture of myself with my son on the pool deck. He just had gone through a competition at an invitational, and that's a little peek behind my, I have kids, and here's my
Yeah,
sweet boy, and he's doing swimming. That
absolutely.
little peek behind the curtain, a little, like who is
Yeah,
this? What
yeah.
is that? And inside, even when you're doing that, that being consistent to who you are is really
Sure.
important. Yeah.
All right. This one's a tough one. My second to last question for you.
Oh
What
no.
what trends in image branding do you think professionals should pay attention to in 2025? Because
Ooh,
how like
2020.
the,
Oh, go
the
ahead.
80s, how like the 80s had its own little look, the 90s, 2000s, they keep changing with the trends. So what do you think is the trend of 2025?
Well, 2025, I'm trying to think. Well, the barrel jean right now is really huge as far as like in, as far as a style, like the barrel jean. And I would say if you love and you want part of your messaging is you want to be on trend and trendy, then at
Sure.
least one pair of barrel jeans is probably in your future, but don't invest in them. Like don't get 100. You
Yeah,
know, I still feel like skinny jeans are still relevant because as we're coming into fall,
it
you
is.
need a skinny jean to tuck your boot into. Like you
Of
can't
course, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
tuck a
There's certain
wide
things
leg.
that Of course.
Yeah.
There's certain things that just don't go out of style, just how you dress it up changes.
Like where how you're going to put it into your thing. The other thing is I like to say about trends and knowing like
Sorry.
know the trends, appreciate the trends. Like I know coming into fall that we're really looking at a lot of rusts and browns and yellows
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of really really warm colors. Um
Mm-hmm.
and not everyone can wear those. So luckily there's still plums and other things like that. And my thing is okay, appreciate the trends, know what they are, kind of have a high level understanding of it. There's certain belts, like do we tuck, do we untuck, do we
Yeah.
side tuck, do we not, do we not, do we
Yeah.
wear belts, do we wear, like all these things. In
Mm-hmm.
the end, I want for my clients to sure see a trend, have fun with it, have a few pieces in it, throw it in your wardrobe. If it turns out that it's not for you, cool. You didn't spend a lot on it. If it's one that you
Exactly.
absolutely love, invest. But
Exactly.
in the end, it's all about you. It's all
Mhm.
about what makes you feel your best. And so
Correct.
if you want to belt, belt. If you want to tuck, tuck. If you don't,
Mhm.
don't,
And if you feel happy in it, you shouldn't worry about what people think. I mean, unless you're really kind of questionable, then a true friend will be like, "Hey, friend, let's talk about it." But if it makes you happy, roll with it. Sometimes you could become the trendsetter. You
That's
know,
right.
you
Hmm.
could be the one.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is, what inspires you daily?
Oh, um, what inspires me daily? So I love prayer. So I I say my prayers every morning, every evening, probably constantly. And I usually am inspired by something in the word. But also, I'm also inspired by my children. Like they're so
Okay.
funny and they the things that are happening right now in their lives and they inspire me. They inspire me to be a better mom, they inspire me to be a better person and businesswoman, and I
That's
just yeah, they're so fun and they're so goofy.
great.
So those two things, my prayer time, I'm inspired by the
I
word,
love
and then I'm also inspired by my kids, my family, my husband. Yeah.
That's cool. I love that. I love that about you. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us and motivating our community of listeners to dress better, feel better, and know themselves better through their style. And if you want more information on Jackie or book an appointment with her, you can follow her at the Jackie Style. If you want to see the replay, you can watch it at One Self Consulting. And I want to leave you guys with a quote. Take one step today that your future self will thank you for. Signing off, oneself. Thank you so much, Jackie. It's been wonderful having you on the show. And
Thanks
we'll
so
see you
much.
soon. Take care. Bye, everybody.